Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. Happy Monday to everyone out there. And it's been quite a roller coaster of a Monday, I gotta say, especially the news that came out in late afternoon. But all of that I'll cover today, including Netflix The Sandman adaptation has a new update. Also, CW Swamp Thing is going to premiere soon. Joe Manganiello does mocap work for something. Warner Brothers, though, has multiple film date changes. Yeah. But before all that, I, of course, have to thank my members of the Ping Pong Flix Show family. Thank you so much for joining the Ping Pong Flix Show. You guys and girls are the lifeline of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the exclusive access videos. And also, the rest of you subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing and pretty much coming here daily for DC content. Once I reach 15,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a random prize drawing on that 15,000 subscriber video. Subscribe today and you'll get your chance to win awesome DC merch and Ping Pong Flix merchandise as well. All right, guys, now on to the news. Netflix, the Sandman series adaptation has a big update for us today. This was actually posted a few days ago, but here it is. Netflix's The Sandman may have found its dream, but with that comes at least one chilling nightmare. Slash Film has learned that The Sandman is considering 2 actors to play the Corinthian, a rogue nightmare created by Morpheus that escapes to Earth and becomes a dangerous serial killer. Liam Hemsworth and Zachary Montgomery are apparently among the top choices to play the Corinthian, one of the major villains of The Sandman. Slash Film has learned from the sources close to the production of The Sandman that the Hunger Games star Liam Hemsworth and Stranger Things Zachary Montgomery, he was a Red Ranger, by the way, also, are in return running to play the Corinthian in Netflix's TV series adaptation of Neil Gaiman's beloved comic book series. A rogue nightmare created by Morpheus, the Corinthian is described as a supernaturally handsome character oozing sex appeal, whose pleasing physical appearance hides a sadistic, predatory persona. In the comics, the Corinthian is depicted as a charismatic, well-dressed man who wears white clothing and strange sunglasses that hide his most disturbing physical feature, his lack of eyes. In the place of his eyes are mouths with 2 small rows of jagged teeth in each eye socket. That's pretty terrifying, which have the ability to speak, breathe, and even eat, the latter of which he often indulges by eating the eyeballs of victims. The Corinthian is one of the most chilling villains of the Sandman, which is saying something for a 75-issue comic book series famous for testing the limits of horror fantasy. I think out of those 2, Zachary Montgomery probably is the better actor, especially if you've seen Stranger Things. I think he can act the heck out of this role. He certainly is villainous in Stranger Things up until the sacrificial moment. But Netflix is reportedly narrowing down its choice to play the lead role of the Sandman, with Velvet Buzzsaw's Tom Sturridge in talks to star as Morpheus. That's the lead character. That's the Sandman. That's his name amongst many names. It's mostly Morpheus. The series is set to begin shooting in less than a month, with Gaiman executive producer alongside David S. Goyer and writer-showrunner Alan Heinberg, right? So that's awesome. I didn't even know this was coming out, to be quite honest. And I was started to read about it because I've heard about that podcast that Ray Porter was voicing. And I was like kind of really interested in the Sandman a little bit. So I decided to just kind of look into it. And so for many of you who don't know much about Sandman, I'm going to explain to you what he kind of is. And this is coming from IGN. I'm going to put it right here so you can see it as well. The Sandman explained, what is the DC Comics adaptation? The basics, the Sandman, not to be confused with the Spider-Man villain, revolves around a powerful entity known as Dream or Morpheus, though he has many other names too. Morpheus is the living embodiment of dreams and a member of a family known as the Endless. Morpheus is nearly as old as existence itself, coming into being when the first life forms began dreaming, and he both draws strengths from dreams and has the ability to shape them to his will. However, as Morpheus learns over the course of the series, even a being as ancient and powerful as he must learn how to change or face certain dooms, right? So the Sandman is a series with ties to the DC universe, particularly heroes like Justice Society's Wesley Dodds, John Constantine, and Element Girl. However, Morpheus rarely concerns himself with the affairs of ordinary heroes and villains. Most of his battles involve mythological gods, supernatural creatures, and even Lucifer Morningstar. So that is essentially what the Sandman series was in the comic books, and they're going to adapt it into Netflix. And I think that's great. I think that's awesome. It's kind of funny we're seeing it on Netflix and not over on HBO Max, but it's okay. I mean, at least it's on streaming, and because it's on a streaming service like Netflix, it's going to be R-rated, right? They're probably not going to hold back. That's the beauty of these streaming services, especially like HBO Max or Netflix. They don't hold back on any of that parental guidance stuff, right? It's not like CW where they have to go kind of friendly. I mean, Supernatural does a little bit of gore and stuff like that, but it's not to the point that you can get from like an HBO or a Netflix. So I think the Sandman, it sounds awesome. It sounds supernatural. I have not dived into the comics, but if this is my foray into the Sandman, I want them to go all out, and I believe if they put it on Netflix, they are going to go all out. So I'm really excited to see what this actually looks like. It sounds terrifying. I think I've seen pictures of that where the Corinthian has like mouths on the eyes. That's got to be freaky stuff, right? Supernatural freaky stuff. And I'm kind of into that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing about the Netflix series, The Sandman. So I'm going to really keep my eyes and ears on this one a little bit more now, as I want to see this through. I really want to check this out. Speaking of things that are supernatural and is a show that is coming out, well, it kind of came out already, but now it's going to premiere once again, this time on the CW. The CW Swamp Thing, Discover What's Hiding Underneath DC Swamp Thing premieres tomorrow at 8 or 7 Central Time. Stream next day free only on the CW. That's right, it's coming out on Swamp Thing, and this is the point where we finally get to see how much they chop up to make sure it's, relatively kid-friendly, right? I mean, there's not going to have any swear words or anything in there, so it's going to be pretty much kid-friendly, muted, and I mean, I think they're still can have a bit of gore in there because Supernatural shows the limitations that they can have, or not the limitations that they can have in terms of gore. So I think there's still a possibility that it could still work out, but is it going to be successful enough in order to garner a new season? There's only 10 episodes. So I don't know if it's going to be enough in order to get enough traction, in order for them to say, all right, let's get a new season. I would have rather seen this head over to HBO Max and not be censored and cut up and chopped up. Now, I don't know how much is going to get cut up or chopped up, but it's definitely be censored. And I think this kind of series actually belongs in HBO Max. But let's see what happens. Maybe if they're trying out with the CW audience and the CW audience really likes it and they want to get into it, then they could say, all right, well, let's bring it over onto, let's get another season out of it. Let's see if we can actually make a new season out of it. But then if a new season comes out of it on CW, then it's already kind of, censored and chopped up already. So, I'd really rather have seen it on HBO Max, but I'll support it anyway. So check it out. Premiered tomorrow on CW Swamp Thing. Now, my next topic is not necessarily DC animation, but it could be. I mean, it could be, right? We talked a little bit about the Army of the Dead Las Vegas and how they're utilizing an animation studio called Medusa Arts, and that animation studio has been doing awesome cinematic trailers, cinematic openings, and scenes for games like Injustice 2, amongst all other games like Battlefront, Mortal Kombat. Incredible work. And if you can just imagine, because this is going to be a Stone Quarry production. Zack Snyder is diving head deep into it along with Jay Oliva. They're also could possibly be working on DC products as well. Jay Oliva kind of hinted at that, including Mark Hughes, that could possibly happen. And to have a studio like Medusa Arts work on that would be awesome. Imagine the realistic looking cinematic action, cinematic scenes that look like live action, but it's not, and it's all 3D animated. What it just needs are great actors like Joe Manganiello. Joe Manganiello did a mocap work for Army of the Dead. And now this was teased a while back, and we weren't sure what he was doing mocap work for. We thought it was for a game, but apparently now that we know that Joe Manganiello is going to be the lead protagonist for Army of the Dead Las Vegas, then this makes sense. And that's a wrap. But of what? And we, days later, or actually months later, we find out that it's actually Army of the Dead Las Vegas. So we have very strong suspicion that he's working on that. Now, who else is Joe Manganiello? Joe Manganiello was supposed to be Deathstroke in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he is. He was also Deathstroke for a little bit, but he was supposed to be Deathstroke in that Solo the Batman film as well. Now, just like a theory, hypothesis, if you will, just imagine Joe Manganiello doing some mocap work for a Deathstroke animated solo film, right? Something about maybe we find out a little bit more about Zack Snyder's version of Deathstroke, his origin tale. I know we got an origin, sort of an origin tale with that animated one, 2D animated one. But imagine fight scenes that kind of look like Arkham. Remember that Arkham Origins cinematic trailer? I'm not sure if that was made by Medusa Arts, but if it was, that's awesome. But that type of action on screen, 3D anime, not 2D anime, not anime, 3D animated, realistic looking. I mean, it looks like a real live action fight scene. So if you can imagine Joe Manganiello is doing mocap just for Army of the Dead Las Vegas, you don't think they're going to ask him, hey, I think we can expand on the DC animated universe, and maybe we can see some Deathstroke action, fully animated, and and it will cost a lot less than a live action, right? So not that Deathstroke live action wouldn't cost that much, I don't think, but hey, it's possible to do spin-offs of Deathstroke in terms of live action and animated, really break ground on Zack Snyder's pretty much his own Snyderverse in animation as well. So I think this is pretty exciting to see, and I think look at the guy. I think he's really up for it, and I think maybe other actors and actresses may also be up for it as well. Now, that is all and well with DC shows and streaming shows and things like that, because, it's pretty much safe for us to sit in our homes, on our couches, and watch these shows on TV or on the computer or on your phone. So that's all and well. But, we love some movies, right? I know you love some movies. I want some movies. I think theatrical movies is just such a great, awesome experience. Just be able to go to the theater, sit in a large room of a big ass screen, eating popcorn, the smell of popcorn, right? And the nice seats, if you get the nice seats. Some theaters still don't have recliners. What's going on? But the reclining seat, the surround sound, the theater's shaking and through action scenes. I love that. I really love that. But it's sad. I mean, it's sad that theaters are closing because of this whole pandemic. Like this one right here. Variety reporter Regal Cineworld confirms temporary suspension of U.S. and U.K. operations. Oh my God, over 650 theaters, over now, 650 theaters in US and UK are closing. That is sad, really sad. And why? Why are they doing that? Well, there's no new movies coming out. The last movie that came out is Tenet. That's it. They've been showing Empire Strikes Back, Hocus Pocus. Come on, these People can watch that at home, but you know, it's still getting money in the box office, but not enough for these theaters to survive, especially when some of my theaters here are actually offering like $5 tickets for adults, $2 tickets for kids, but you have to take your food home and stuff like that. The experience is gone. So 10 Regal theaters here in Hawaii are shutting down, and all the staff members, I feel really bad for this whole thing, not only this industry, but every other industry as well. But because we're talking about DC, the movies are much important. Why am I bringing this up? Because this means that the distributors are gonna delay and postpone their own movies, which is, you know, it's hard to, it's such a hard thing, because the theaters need new movies in order to make money, but the distributors need the theaters in order to make money by showing their movies in. It's really, it's like a catch-22. So unfortunately, Warner Brothers had to delay multiple films. This was crushing today, absolutely crushing today. I tweeted this out. Oh my God. The Batman moves from October 1st, 2021 to the year after, March 4th of 2022. The Flash moves from June 3rd of 2022 to November 4th of 2022. Shazam, the sequel, Shazam! Fear of the Gods, moves from November 4th, 2022 to June 2nd of 2023. And this is the kicker. Black Adam moves from December 22nd, 21 to undated. Like, it just dropped off the schedule. Black Adam is off the schedule. Oh man, this is such a it's a crazy time. What a man, I can't believe this. We're literally not getting much movies next year. I mean, not at all, right? So David Sandberg actually is one of the directors that had a comment on this. He said, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods is now a summer 2023 film. Warner Brothers was like, can't you just use fake beards on the kids? And I was like, if Tom Cruise is going to space for real, then we can wait for the kids to grow real beards. And it's an important plot point. Seriously, though, it doesn't mean we have to change the shooting schedule. So no need to freak out about the age of the kids. You can freak out about your own age, though. I'll be 42 in 3 years. How about that? So I said, at this rate, you better shoot Shazam 3 right after, because honestly, I mean, yeah, they can still go to production. They can still shoot and do things like that with restrictions and being careful and such and so on and so forth. But that really delays other future films. Like, if they were ever going to do Shazam 3, Warner Brothers is going to wait until Shazam 2 comes out to make sure that, you know, everything works well. This is the right direction. You know, they're very reactionary. So they're not going to let David F. Sandberg continue on. So everything's been pushed back, other than the productions of said movies that are supposed to come out, right? Black Adam moving off the schedule is concerning. I think Dwayne Johnson, they're not going to not let Dwayne Johnson make the movie. He just cast Aldous Hodge as the Hawkman, and they're still probably trying to get Dr. Fate and so on and so forth. I think they're just negotiating dates at this point. But really, this is absolutely concerning. And there's no going about it, right? I mean, Marvel even pushed everything back as well. There's not much movies coming out. That the only 2 DC movies that are coming out, and it's Wonder Woman 1984, which is still scheduled to come out this year, December 25th. Also, the Suicide Squad is supposed to come out next year on August 6th. So I don't know if they're gonna move too. And this whole thing started this morning when Dune was delayed all the way to October 1st of 2022, which is 2021, which was the Batman's original date. So today we were all like, there is no way the Batman is not going to move. They're not going to put Dune and the Batman on the same weekend. They're definitely not going to do that. So, and it's true, because late afternoon, they moved it. They moved it to 2022. And I'm even here like, oh my God, just we're not going to watch movies for a long time. We're not going to get to watch these DC movies, major motion pictures, for a long time. Warner Brothers is truly struggling right now. I mean, like I said before, at this point, I get it. We can't watch movie theaters. Theaters are closing because you can't watch them. At the same time, they can't put them in theaters because there are no theaters to put it in. So it's like Wonder Woman 1984 just come out on streaming already. I get it. It's a Warner Brothers thing. They're not going to, give it away to Warner Max. Yet they're trying to show Warner Media and AT&T they're a viable distribution company. They want to get those theaters. They want to be, but it's also the theaters trying to tell the distributors, hey, you're not going to give us new movies. We're going to have to cut. We're going to have to shut down. You're going to have to shut down. And it's almost like, I don't know. I mean, something's got to connect here, whether it's, making it safe for the customers, at the same time, just being like Tenet and just coming out, even though the box office wasn't that as much as it should be. All these companies will have to either bite the bullet and say, just throw it on VOD, charge $70, $60 to $70 per movie just to get, and I think I'd pay for it. I honestly, each of these movies right now, the Batman, the Flash, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Black Adam, Wonder Woman 1984, the Suicide Squad, Godzilla vs. Kong, if these came out like $70 on VOD, I'd definitely buy it. I don't know, maybe try at least a few of them go straight to VOD at this rate. So, Zack Snyder's Justice League is about to be the biggest DC event in 2021. Seriously, this is a major event now. We've got a 4-hour mini series coming out with big name actors like Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, right? And the giant big DC characters of Superman, Batman, Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. What? And it's going to come out on streaming. The safest, there is no delays for that. Like they said, they could still shoot around with restrictions, but the distribution to streaming, they don't have to worry about theaters. They're taking out the middle guy, and they're going straight to streaming. So with that in mind, even if all these movies delay, that we're going to get to see a Justice League movie, and while everything else, all those other films are going to be delayed. So I'm really excited for that Zack Snyder's Justice League movie. Whoops. Yeah, that's Rob Liefeld. This would put the biggest smile on my face. I just had to share this because it was hilarious. He tweeted out a picture. Someone put out a picture of Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, I think this is just him being really petty because, Disney is not exactly signing Ryan Reynolds over for a Deadpool. And, maybe that whole thing about Ryan Reynolds tweeting about Green Lantern was a bargaining chip in order to get that Deadpool part. But as of right now, even with the big rumors that he's going to sign on a Deadpool, I don't know. This is kind of funny, though, that Rob Liefeld tweeted that out. But anyway, I don't really care who's going to be Green Lantern. I just know that there's going to be a Green Lantern, and I can't wait to see who that is. For me, it was already going to be the biggest DC event of next year. And the Suicide Squad is going to be out next year. I know that's some of you who don't like Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's going to be your biggest DC event if it still can hold on to that date. There's no delays yet, and hopefully it doesn't. I would still like to see the Suicide Squad come out next year, how it's meant to, and I hope that Wonder Woman 1984 comes out this year. Zack Snyder's Justice League, Zack Snyder making Army of the Dead Lost Lost Vegas, and all these other possibly DC animated shows. Along with the Netflix Sandman, there's a Doom Patrol out. All these shows that are going streaming, right? And I'm kind of glad I'm also covering DC shows now, because I was like, I need to really capture it all, because I love DC. I'm very a loyal DC fan, and so I'm so excited to see a lot of DC content, and I love to cover them. I feel like that is like, wow. it really is going to be a lot of these streaming services, a lot of these TV shows are really, really going to shine during this pandemic, as all these movies continue to delay until I really hope, I honestly hope that they can come to terms with something, either with the theaters or, maybe splitting the cost of VOD with the theaters or something. I don't know. But in a way to work together in order so the creators and the creator, like David F. Sandberg, who is, if you've seen his Instagram, he's equally frustrated, so that they can actually show the audience what they really, really wanted to do. So yeah, unfortunately, not very good news today, but hopefully it'll be looking up soon, right? All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. I want to thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you love this daily dose of DC content of movies, shows, and video games, please click the like button, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and keep this hot dog light on. Get me to 15,000 subscribers for a chance for a random drawing, and I'll see you next time.